Is crypto about to enter a super cycle? One of the most powerful and well-connected people in the entire crypto industry, the founder of Binance, says that 2026 could be the start of something much bigger than anything we've ever seen before. Not just another bull run, but a full-blown super cycle. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly what a super cycle is, why Binance's founder believes it's coming, what's changing in crypto right now, and most importantly, what this could mean for Bitcoin, altcoins, and everyday investors just like you. And trust me, this is one of the most important conversations that we've had on this channel in a long time.
I am not a financial advisor. This video is based solely on my opinion on what I'm personally doing in this market. I also want to let you know that some of the links below and in the descriptions are affiliate links, meaning I may get a commission, but it will be at no extra cost to you. Please remember that under no circumstances will I ever contact you and ask you for investments. You can confirm all of my real social media handles in the description and also at milkshakematty.com. This content is for educational and entertainment only, and I'm not a financial advisor.
Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Matty, and on this channel, we break down crypto, markets, and big stories in a simple way. So even if you're brand new, you can still understand what's really going on. Now, today's topic comes from a very interesting article, an interview involving Changpeng Zhao, better known as CZ, and he's the founder of Binance. Now, whether you love Binance or hate them, one thing is undeniable. CZ is one of the most influential people in crypto history. He's built the largest crypto exchange in the world, and he speaks directly to regulators, institutions, governments, and major investors. So when he talks about where this market might be going, people listen. And recently, CZ said something very bold. He said that 2026 could be the start of a crypto super cycle. Now that raises a big question. What actually is a super cycle? And how is it different from a normal bull market? Let's start with what most of us already know. Historically, Bitcoin and crypto have followed something called a 4-year cycle. And this cycle is driven mainly by one event, the Bitcoin halving. Roughly every 4 years, the amount of new Bitcoin being created is cut in half. With less supply or the same or growing demand, price tends to rise. So normally what we see is a halving, then a bull market, then a peak, then a long bear market, then consolidation, then the next halving, and the cycle repeats. We saw it in 2013, we saw it in 2017, and we saw it again in 2021. And most people expect something similar again after the 2024 halving, but a super cycle is very different. A super cycle is when markets stop following neat little 4-year patterns. Instead, price enters a long-term structural uptrend driven not by hype, but by adoption, by institutions, by regulation, by real-world usage, and by sovereign money flows. In a super cycle, you don't just get one sharp peak and a brutal crash. You get sustained growth over many years with higher highs, higher lows, and far shallower pullbacks. So when CZ says super cycle, he's not talking about a normal bull run. He's talking about crypto becoming a permanent growing asset class. Now let's look at what triggered this conversation. At Davos, in an interview, CZ said that he had a very strong feeling that 2026 could be a super cycle year for Bitcoin. And what's interesting is not just what he said, it's why he said it. He explained that crypto is now entering a completely different phase of its life. Back in 2013, 2017 and 2021, crypto was still mostly retail driven, poorly regulated, high risk and misunderstood by institutions. But today, everything is changing. We now have Bitcoin ETFs approved in major markets, institutional custody solutions, banks offering crypto exposure, and governments building crypto regulation frameworks and stablecoins being integrated into payment systems, and also major asset managers allocating capital. And CZ's point is simple. When real institutional money starts flowing into an asset class, not for speculation, but for long-term allocation, the old cycle begins to break. The market structure changes, and that's how super cycles are born. This is the most important part of the entire video. Retail traders, people like you and me, create volatility. Institutions create trends. When retail piles in, price spikes. When retail panics, price crashes. But institutions don't behave like that. They accumulate slowly, hold for years, rebalance quarterly. Now think about this. BlackRock now offers Bitcoin exposure. Fidelity offers Bitcoin exposure. Major pension funds are exploring crypto allocations, and sovereign wealth funds are watching closely. And here's the key part. Even if 1% of traditional capital moves into crypto, That is trillions of dollars. Trillions. Crypto's entire market cap today is still tiny compared to equities, bonds, property, and gold. So if crypto becomes a legitimate long-term asset class, you don't get a boom and bust cycle anymore. You get sustained inflows. And that's exactly what defines a super cycle. For years, regulation was crypto's biggest enemy. Crackdowns, bans, uncertainties, exchange collapses, banking restrictions. But now something very important has changed. Regulation is no longer about banning crypto, it's about integrating crypto. We're seeing clear licensing frameworks being built, stablecoin legislation, bank participation, crypto ETFs, custody regulation, and tax clarity. And this is critical. Institutions cannot deploy serious capital without regulation. So as regulation improves, capital follows. CZ even said that regulation is now becoming a tailwind, not a headwind. And that is one of the main reasons he believes the next cycle could be fundamentally different from the past. Now, at this point, some people jump straight into price predictions. Bitcoin to 500k, Bitcoin to 1 million, altcoins exploding 100x. And yes, in a true super cycle, price targets that sound insane today could eventually become realistic. But here's something very important. CZ did not give price targets. He didn't say Bitcoin will hit a certain number. Instead, he focused on structure, on flows, on adoption, on regulation, and on long-term direction. And that's actually much more credible in my view, because super cycles are not about one massive spike. They're about sustained growth, slower, more stable, more institutional. So instead of asking how high Bitcoin can go this year, the better question is this. What does crypto look like in 5, 10, 20 years' time? And that's exactly how institutions are thinking. Now, I want to be very clear. This is not guaranteed. Super cycles are rare, and crypto is still a very young, volatile, and experimental market. We still face regulatory surprises, political risk, technology risk, exchange risk even, security risk, and even macro risk. We have recessions, rate changes, wars, banking crises. All of these can derail markets. And even in a super cycle, you can still get crashes, corrections, fear, capitulation. So this is not a promise of easy money. This is a thesis, a possibility, and a structural shift that could happen if adoption continues, if regulation improves, if institutions keep allocating, and if technology delivers, and if trust grows. Now, before we go any further, if you enjoy these deeper conversations about crypto, markets, and where this space is heading, you should absolutely check out the UK Crypto Podcast. I co-host it alongside Paula Talks Crypto. We record in a professional studio, we bring industry guests, and we go much deeper into regulation, adoption, market psychology, and where crypto is really heading, especially from a UK perspective. You can find it right here on YouTube. There'll be a link in the description. And also at the end of this video, I'm going to tag this week's brand new episode so you can watch it straight after this. So let's bring this back to you. What does a possible super cycle mean in practice? First, it supports long-term holding. If crypto is entering a structural growth phase, then time in the market becomes more important than timing in the market. Second, it supports accumulation in fear. If institutions are building long-term positions, then dips become opportunities, not disasters anymore. And third, it supports quality. In a super cycle, not everything pumps. Capital flows into Bitcoin, Ethereum, infrastructure, payments, and real utility. Weak projects will still die. Scams will still collapse. Hype still fades. So strategy still matters. And finally, it supports patience. Super cycles are not fast. They unfold over years, and the biggest gains usually go to the people who stay consistent, avoid panic, manage risk, and think long term. So, is crypto entering a super cycle? Truth is, we don't know, but what we do know is this. Crypto today is not the same crypto as in 2017. It's more regulated, more institutional, more integrated, more legitimate, and more global. When the founder of the largest exchange in the world says that 2026 could make a structural shift in the entire market, that's something worth paying attention to. Not as hype, but as strategy. Because the biggest money is not trying to predict next month. they're positioning for the next decade. If you found this useful, make sure you hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. Let me know in the comments, do you believe we're heading into a super cycle, or do you think crypto will continue following the old 4-year pattern? And don't forget, I've tagged this week's brand new episode of the UK Crypto Podcast, and it's on screen now. Go and watch that next. I think you're really going to enjoy it. I'll see you on the next one. And remember this, the strength of the wolf is in the pack.